Welcome back. So this has been the first podcast I've recorded in a little while. This is the M.a.N podcast. I am Thomas, the host, the guide, whatever the hell, lead speaker that listens more than talks. That is your introduction, and we are going to try and push this again. So if you've been waiting for an episode, here you go. David, unfortunately, has asked to talk about me a little bit more than himself. David's been on twice now. David and I have become, I would say, pretty good friends just through social media, just through meeting in person once. Was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago we were in Birmingham?
I think closer to 3 now, yeah.
Yeah, it must be about 3 years ago. We met at a biomechanics seminar and then just speak pretty much weekly through social media or WhatsApp or whatever. And me and David were just talking there. And we were talking about why I don't really like talking about myself. And I'm going to try and remember everything that I just said because David asked why we're not recording it. But David, if you want to just quickly say hello, if you want to just, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself or anything again, if new people are listening for the first time, or anything that you really want to talk about, I will come back to why I
Not
don't.
not really. I think let's flip it this time and let's make this the episode where we get to know the host. Okay?
Do you know what? To be fair, you're not the first person that's asked for this, so I guess it's time that I do it. So,
So why
what
don't
I
you
was
like
say-
talking about yourself?
So, I can remember when I was younger, a lot of people would call me arrogant. And I never ever meant it, and I never ever thought I was better than anybody. Like, I was never saying, like, I would say, look at me, but I think it was more for attention. I think I was wanting people to be like, wow, you're amazing. I was like wanting that. And I can remember being in like primary school, and this is where I think it kind of stemmed from. It maybe stemmed from like, there's maybe deeper things in this, and David's always saying I need to go speak to someone. I maybe will eventually just get organised and go speak to a psychologist. I think from around about the time my mum and dad split up, like it stemmed. I think things kind of changed from them. I can't remember too much. I remember the day that they did split up. Like I can remember the day my dad left. And again, I don't want to say he left. The day that they separated, because I don't know if he left or if he had to leave. I don't know if my mum kicked him out or my mum wanted him gone. I don't know, and I don't actually ever want to know the truth of that. Because I would hate for it to impact my opinion of my parents. So they're not together. They've never been together. As far as like,
You're still in contact with both of them?
yeah, I still speak to them both. Still love them both. They still both love me dearly. They're still heavily involved in my life. So yeah, I still speak to them both. But not long after they split up, my step brother, he used to play for a basketball team that were called the Mini Musketeers. I went along, and I can't remember progressing fast. I just remember being able to like kind of keep up with everybody, like in the skill set quite quickly. Like it wasn't like I ever thought I was getting better faster than anybody else did. I just always made sure that whatever anybody in front of me was doing, I was going to be able to do it as well. Like that was just kind of like my mindset. Like I'm here as part of their thing, not the other way about. So it was like, right, well, I don't want to slow anybody down. I don't want to. So, and I think that made me progress pretty quickly. However, at the same time, or like the other side of the coin, I had a terrible attitude. Like, for people that know me, I do have actually a very short temper. When I played basketball, I would lose my head a lot, and that's something we can try and talk about. I would have to kind of dig into it. I don't fully know why, and I don't, or maybe I kind of do, and I can touch on that. So I got pretty good with basketball, and like you can ask anybody that played with me. Like when I was little, I was pretty good, but I didn't really get any better once I got to secondary school. Like I kind of had this like, and I guess this was like maybe the arrogance that I was like, I'm pretty good. I'm already a little bit better, so I can slow down. So instead of pushing myself on and being like, I want to get better, I was like, I'm already like almost as good. Like I almost thought like this is as good as I can get. Do you know? Like, and that's me just being wholeheartedly honest, and that's not in the sense of like, and it's not in like the sense of like I just don't think I can get better. I almost just seen it as like I'm good enough. Does that make sense? So when I
And the
was like in
confidence it gave you was perceived by others as arrogance, right?
yeah. And there's a couple things that I could touch on as well, I suppose, around basketball. Like I'm the only basketball player that played for Arbroath High School's basketball team, which was called the Arbroath Musketeers. That was like and it was quite a respected basketball team in Scotland as well for such a small town. I'm the only person to ever get kicked off the team but be allowed to come back. I took a strop and I kicked the ball and it hit one of the coaches. and they were like, "You're done. You can't come back." And I'm sure I took a year out. I'm sure I didn't play basketball again for a year. Yeah, and I can remember as well, like one time where I did quit again for a little spell. I started skateboarding, and I was an alright skateboarder as well. Like I wasn't ever going to go pro, or like I wasn't ever like, but I used to love it. I used to love skateboarding, and I was like, for like the group that I skated with, I was like one of the better skaters. There was a couple really good skateboarders in Arbroath, but they were like older guys, and sometimes they would let me even like tag along with them because it wasn't like I slowed them down or anything. Like I would still try some hard tricks, and the basketball coach said to me one day, he was like, "Right, you're gonna have to pick skateboarding or basketball." And I can remember in my head thinking as a young man being like, skateboarding would never make me pick two things that I like, so I'm just gonna pick skateboarding. And I remember quitting for a little bit again.
Wow.
I quit basketball for a little bit again. But again, like going back to like why I don't like talking about myself. Even this now, I'm like, fuck, you're an asshole. Like I start thinking I am an asshole. Is because it does make me feel uncomfortable, and I don't want people thinking that I think I'm something special. I believe that everybody has the capabilities to become special, and I do believe I could do something special now. Whereas I think potentially when I was younger, when I was seeking attention, and this is what I said to you before, I'd be like, right, look at me, look what I can do. Or did you see what I just done? It wasn't me bragging. It was like, fuck, like it was like shock and almost maybe a bit of attention for someone to say like, oh, well done, Thomas. So that's a big part, and that kind of carried over for like a long time. And I guess if I ever like gave myself a compliment, it always seemed to get answered back with like, you're arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
So me talking about myself is just kind of like, it's just been easier to not do it than to like to deal with like trying to like explain, well actually, do you know what, I mean this, I'm not meaning what you're assuming. So I just think I stopped. And believe it or not, like I can talk a lot, and everybody will say I can talk a lot, and probably people close to me will say I do talk a bit, or maybe I am. So they maybe will stay on.
You
Still.
do talk a lot, just never about yourself.
It's because I don't really like it. But like I was saying
But
to you as well,
to
like,
me, it's
no, on you go.
well,
Like to me, it's like a film. It's like watching the same film again straight away. Like you don't like watching a film and then you put it back to start and you watch it again. So for me, talking about myself, that's how it feels because I am living my life, like because I am in amongst it. And a lot of the time, I am quite a present person. So I'm like, this is fucking sick. Like this is cool, or this is beautiful, or holy moly, like feel that emotion. Like I'm pretty good at that. So when I'm doing it, it's like right, that moment's passed. Let's just keep going. And I don't feel like I need to. I wouldn't say I'm dwelling in it, but it's a bad trait. One of my best man, he pulled me aside after competing, and when I came third in WNBF, so like third in men's physique for the tall class, he was like, you need to like sit on this for a little bit. You need to meditate on it. Whereas I was like, no, next thing. Like, what's the next thing? Let's go. Like, there's a new story that starts. There's a new chapter. Let's move forward. Yeah, I'm very bad for that. Yeah.
I mean, by the sounds of it, to me, you've just like outgrown. Again, if you agree to this, you will just think again that you're an asshole. But to me, it sounds like that you've like outgrown people and situations around you.
Maybe, I guess that could be part of it because I do live in like a smaller town, and I don't have anything wrong with it. Like,
Exactly.
I love this town. I fucking love it. I love everybody in it. The amount of people that I've been just walking about in the town saying congratulations, like it's unbelievable, and I love it. But I think a lot of people in this town think you get a girlfriend at a certain time, or let's go with guys, straight heterosexual guys. I'm not discriminating against anybody. I'm just going to talk about someone that's like similar shoes to me. They get told to get a girlfriend. They get a job. They pretty much live for the weekend, and that is what they do. And I think there's a lot of people in this area that think like that. And a quote that I quite like, but it's more for like me to push myself on, is like 80% of people don't care, and 20% of people want you to fail. And I don't think that's completely true, but that was like a quote that I once read. And I think with like the way that I think and the way that I am always trying to progress things, I don't get to speak to too many people that think like me. And I think you could be right. I think there could be a part of me that is. But again, this, like, me feeling and being the way I am does not mean that I think I'm any better. I would love to be able to just be completely content with absolutely everything. But for me, I quite like progress. I like moving forward. And I think there has to be a bit of like self-belief in that could be seen as arrogance, or maybe that is growing, maybe that is developing, and some people can't keep up. There's people that I don't speak to as much, and they'll know. If they listen, they probably won't. If they're listening, there's people that I used to be really good friends with, and they've not changed their lifestyle or what they're doing massively. I still love them to bits. Like, I do genuinely still love them. But what they're doing from day to day is not
drawn different directions, right?
Yeah. And again, I have nothing, like, Arbroath, you are my foundations. Like, that is where I am. There's nothing against the place. I just feel like potentially, hey, I'll tell you what, here's a quote that I'm proud of, and I shouldn't really quote yourself, should you? But, like, I done a talk at a college, and something that I've tried really hard to do is to stand out, and what that's preventing me from doing is fitting in. Like, I've tried really hard to be like...
Wow. That's your own?
Yeah. Well, I said it and used it.
Wow.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe people are like, this guy is an asshole. Maybe they are thinking that about my own podcast. Maybe they are thinking that, but...
No, you're not an asshole. I think I'm speaking for myself, but I'm in a similar situation because, like, I'm from a small town as well, and, like, I feel like nowadays, if I talk about myself, if I say the bad things, I'm complaining. If I say the good things, I'm a braggy asshole, you know?
Yeah.
And there are not many people that have, like, there are probably maybe my measure is wrong. Probably there are people around me that are, like, as happy as I am, but, like, maybe in material,
I know what you're
in
saying.
a material sense, materialistic sense, they're not achieving as much as I do. So I can't really even talk about my situation to those people because I just make them feel bad, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally know what you're saying. And it's an odd thing. And the thing is, I think even just like talking about being happy, like just being happy, is like a thing that people can be like, oh, calm down, it's not that good. And you're like, well, I'm here.
Yeah.
I've got a roof over my head, I've got a bed I can sleep in, and there's a bit of food. And I think if you're in that situation and you're not happy in a way, there's not going to be anything that kind of fills that void. Like, you can make a heap of money. Like, I've worked with millionaires. I've worked with, like, multi-millionaires, and they're not that happy. There's still things that they want. I've coached, like, beautiful human beings, like, physically absolutely stunning, unbelievable. They're still not that happy. There's still things that they still find flaws. You know, like, they're like, oh, this could be better, or that could be tighter, and you're looking at them and you're like, if I looked like you, I'd be phoning GQ and be like, look, come take some photos of me. But there's still... Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Maybe we're hippies though, eh?
Huh?
Maybe we're hippies.
Maybe what?
We're hippies.
Hippies. I don't know. My billionaire clients, they're the most down-to-earth, chilled people. Like, they don't really spend on anything. They just, like, live at home. It's a nice house, but they're not really fussed about anything. They all go to work, run their business. It's just family time, eating nice food. And there's nothing of what you see in the movies. No private jet, no yacht. They could afford anything, you know? And I talked to them as well, and I asked them, and they said the same thing, that it's usually all those things are just like distractions for people that just can't find happiness, so they try to find materialistic things. And we all heard this, but when it comes from someone that actually has the means to purchase anything, that hits a little bit different. And then the other thing for them is, whatever they do, the child will pick up on, right?
Yeah.
So their probably their priority is living like a normal person, not to spoil the kid and have like a decent kid, who's by the
Yeah.
way wonderful and also the most down to earth person. So yeah, if you don't solve it on the inside, I guess then
Yeah. I think it's, and I guess like circling back around to like us talking about like outgrowing certain friends and family and things like that around you. Do you not think a crazy thing that when you speak to like these like uber rich, uber successful people, that when you say like I'd like to do that, they're like, yeah, you could do it. Like they have this belief where it's like,
yes.
do you know, like that's what blew me away. That's what blew me away when I spoke with a couple of my clients. Like they were like I remember saying so. I remember saying like once to like one of my like millionaire clients, I was like, look, I was like, I'd love to be a millionaire one day, and they're like, you can do it, and they just like said it like
Yeah.
you can, because I think a thing as well that a lot of people forget is people are just people, whether they're a celebrity, whether
Yeah.
they're just people. They just know something that you
Yeah.
don't know yet. That's all it is.
Exactly. You know Hormozy, right? He
Yeah,
always says that not knowing, like if you make, let's say, 100,000 a year, then not knowing how to make a million costs you 900,000 a year.
yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah,
so good.
yeah. I love that as well. I love that, and I love. But he's one of those other people as well. It's like, well, if I can do it, you guys can do it. You've just got to put in the
Yeah.
work, be consistent. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
exactly.
mad.
And then I also think we don't necessarily understand the magnitude of it. So like when you have millionaire
Yeah,
clients, like I have a couple clients in the billions. Billion, I don't think I understand how much more that is than a million.
yeah, yeah,
So if
yeah,
they are normal humans and they go to the toilet and they poop and they eat and they sleep, and I do similar things and we have the same amount of time, then can I not achieve 1,000th of what they achieved? You know?
yeah, yeah. I do. I do wonder about like, but you'll know yourself. Like sometimes there's people that you speak to, and you're like, you have something that not many people have. Do
That's
you know?
you.
Like,
For me, that's you. That's why I'm talking to you.
no way, mate. I don't know.
Like,
Do you know what
listen,
I
I
do?
don't I
Go.
don't have any friends. Like, genuinely, I don't really talk to people because I'm not very social. I'm not very social. My job is very social, so when I can, I try not to talk to people. But you're one of those people I'm actively trying to be friends with because you're that special person with that something little extra for me, you know?
I, so if I do have something, I don't think it's business wise. I think it's to do with humans. I think it's to do with people.
Yeah, it's a human element. Yeah, for sure. But that's all you need in your job, right?
I think so. I definitely think
I mean,
so.
that's the magic component that's harder to teach. Or everything you need to learn about business to get to wherever you want to get, you can learn. The human element, it's really hard to learn.
Yeah,
The other thing that you have is and is really hard to learn is the drive. The drive to help people and the drive to grow. Like that's not learnable, and you have it.
yeah, yeah. You definitely see that. I've actually been speaking to quite a few people about that recently. Because we're trying to take on another personal trainer. So I've been speaking to
Oh,
quite a lot of people.
nice.
Yeah, we're trying to take on like a one-to-one specialist because I want to be able to offer like TS Health and Fitness one-to-one personal training like 7 days of the week, pretty much round the
Oh,
clock.
you mean in person?
Yeah, yeah. So I want that,
Fuck it,
but
I'll
because
move
at the
up
minute,
there. It's fine. Okay. Where
yeah,
do I start?
get up here, get yourself a little house by the beach. Hey, but actually, let's talk about that a
With
little
the
bit. Let's talk about your
seagulls.
plans to travel.
Also, let's talk about, please, if we have the time, about Cassandra. Because I'm at the point where I might need to hire someone. I need to plug in my iPad in the meantime. I might need to hire someone, but I don't know how. And then I see you and I see Cassandra, and I'm like, wow, she's such a fucking perfect pick. How
Yeah.
do I do that as well?
Okay, so something that I once heard. So I've heard a few things, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think I did have quite a big spurt of luck with Cassandra. To be
I
honest,
mean, no, you also sucked with. with your luck with other employees, right? You weren't very lucky with
in the
how they
sense of
had to
like it
leave and
just,
whatnot. So
yeah, it was just like unlucky. It was just unlucky. So Callum, I actually just bumped into him yesterday. If he is listening, Callum knows I love him. Like Callum is like a friend that I will be like. He's a guy that I will keep in my life no matter what. Just due to like personal circumstances, I think we were using personal training, dieting as like a distraction and a mask for like shit that was going
mm,
on that was way bigger than like we could have realized. Um,
mm,
and then I think like once he actually managed to like come out of dieting, he started to realize that personal training was like it's not as straightforward as like just getting to work out all the time. Like you actually have to care about people. You have to actually like listen. You're pretty much there listening. Like you don't actually get to speak too much. Like you listen. Um, I think he just found
mm,
it really hard. And again, he's in a way better place now, not doing it. So like there is like everybody. If
mm,
anybody is listening that didn't know, there is no hard feelings with me and Callum whatsoever. Like I think it was the best thing for him to get a taste of personal training. Would I have loved to have kept him? 100% because he done amazing. Um, but it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right thing. So he needed to step away from it. Becca, she was put in contact with me because she was a personal trainer that had moved up here. They didn't. She moved up to stay with a boyfriend, and she didn't have. I can't remember what she was doing before. I think she is actually a bit of an influencer. Like I think she does get sent clothing. I think she gets sent makeup. I think I might be wrong. And Becca, if you are listening and that's wrong, like feel free to like message me or whatever. Um, she was also good. Do you know what? She was with me at the. And this is the other thing. These things didn't like pan out exactly how I wanted because by now I would love to have all three of them thriving. Like Callum and Becca, they had a fair amount of clients.
mm,
Becca was
mm,
climbing and climbing and climbing. Ideally, I would have got Cassandra while they were still climbing and then getting Cassandra to where we're trying to get her. I would have had the three of them all busy, but it didn't pan out. Callum taught me pretty quick about management, about dealing with clients, understanding that like just because I've given you some instruction doesn't mean that you're going to do it exactly how I would. And that taught me that like you almost have to be able to understand that like, and this is for you, David, like you are you, nobody else can be you, and you might have to accept like 80% of you in someone else. Like no one's going to be able to make the decisions that you would make. No one's going to be able to say the right things or
mm,
exactly what you would say in a situation. Like if you were to put
mm.
someone in conversation with me now, they would
And
be
that's
thinking the same
not a
as you.
bad thing, right?
No, it's not. It's not. And it's nice to have that versatility. Like it's really nice to have it.
Yeah.
And that's what Callum kind of taught me pretty quickly. So then I changed slightly how I took Becca on. With Becca, I tried to give her a bit more guidance and I tried to almost lay out like a blueprint on how we were going to do things. She didn't like it,
Hmm.
which again, I quite liked that she would question what I was doing. So I had to be able to justify it
Hmm.
because she's her own human being. She was already coaching a couple people before she started with me, and then, but the thing is, she had a degree in property law, so we were able to. Like at the time, we needed to make up like some contracts. We needed to make up like legislation thing, and she was able to do that. So like at the time, she was able to create this for me, these documents pretty
Hmm.
much, and she was able to do it to like a law degree standard. So that like at the time that really helped. Unfortunately, her and her partner decided to part ways, and she moved home. Um, we spoke a couple times after. Like I can remember her panicking, and I was like, "Look, just take a few days. Like this is life changing. Like don't make any decisions just now." Um, however, her and I don't know how much detail I can go into here. It was too close to home. Her still working with TS Health and Fitness. Like it was too related to her partner. It was just too close. So she didn't want to, and she wanted to go her own way. However, she did send me a really nice message, being like, "I realized how much you were doing to help me get clients, to help me
Hmm.
progress." And she was like, "This is actually harder than I thought it was doing it on my own." Um, but people don't know this, Cassandra and her partner, like I think it was maybe the same day, broke up. So at the time, so I had Callum and Becca. Callum left. So when Callum left, I knew I needed another coach. So I still had Becca. Me and Becca went through a few internet interview processes, which was nice to do with Becca as well. And I'll definitely remember that forever. Like our first interviews, the way she, like me being so happy and friendly, she was able to be bad cop. And she was just like straight face, no smiling, brutal questions. And I was like, holy shit. Like, but it was like, I was like, I would never have asked that. So I learned from that. So when Callum left, I knew I needed another PT. So me and Becca then took on Cassandra. And when I had the two of them, the three of us were just like, it was like working. And I think we only got maybe a couple months in, like all three of us. And then one of them messaged, and I can't remember what order it was, but one of them messaged being like, Tom, I'm going to need to take a few days. I'm not going to be able to do any work. I've decided to part ways with my partner. And I was like, look, take your time. If your clients need me, just tell them. Like, if you could just please send a message to all your clients saying you're needing a bit of time, but reach out to me if they need anything. And it was like 2 days later, the other one was like, I need to tell you something. And I like jokingly said, don't tell me you've split up with your partners. Because that's what's happened at the other end. Because the three of us, we were all like, it was like one. Like, it wasn't like, it was like we all knew exactly what was happening with the business. Like, we all knew what was happening with each other. Like, we just knew. And that was something that I learned as well, that that's not necessary. Like, you don't need to be completely in each other's lives. And you learn these things. And she was like, well, actually, that is what it is. And I think I'm going to be leaving Arbroath. Because the plan was to get Becca. Becca wanted to be like involved in the business. She wanted to have online clients, and she wanted to be doing one-to-ones. And then Cassandra, when she started, she wanted like similar. And the plan was like, right, brilliant. Let's get you guys in charge of like onboarding, programming, and I can oversee it all, and I can develop you as coaches. So I was almost just going to be like a mentor for the pair of them. And I just took like a small percentage of the money that the company was making. That was like the plan. It was just to like build them up, create a bigger impact, and be able to take more clients on. But with like, to come back around to how I managed to get Cassandra, luck. Genuinely, Cassandra is just completely bought into what we do, what I do, what I'm about. And I guess that like through the interview process, I have interviewed quite a few personal trainers now. A lot of them aren't happy to change their methodology.
Exactly.
And when I ask them, I'll be like, and like you can see like behind you, all the transformations you've got, all the results you've got. Like for me, I would say, okay, David, I trust you enough to coach people the way you coach because it gets results. I would ask these other personal trainers, could you show me 3 before and after photos, please, just so I can see what you do? And they'd be like, I don't have any. And I was like, okay, what's your best success?
But they still want to keep doing things their way.
Yeah, and I would just say then, like, what's your biggest success story? Who have you managed to help the most? And they would be like, oh, well, normally my clients just come in for a session and I don't really speak to them too much. And then when I would ask about like retention rates, they'd be like, oh, normally just like 3, 4, 6 weeks. And that'd be it.
And that's why they're looking to work for someone, actually.
Yeah, so that's what I would ask. To be fair as well, David, Cassandra had a pretty good personal training company before she came on board with me. But what she wanted to do is like a big thing that I'm like you've said there, like the drive. I am all about personal development. I think that's like almost like the purpose of life. Like you just try and learn something. You just try and get better at something. You just try something new. Maybe it wasn't for you. You're fine. Don't matter. I think a lot of people don't want to go to that effort nowadays. I think, and that's something we can maybe talk about as well. But I said to Callum, Beck, and Cassandra, like I have, and this is again maybe going to sound big-headed. I've got quite a lot of knowledge and experience in this. I've been a personal trainer for nearly 15 years now. I've got a degree. I've done internships.
15 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've done it for a while.
Crazy.
Again, when I first started, I was doing like one-to-one sessions, and they might listen. Kelly, there was another lady, Lee Jones. He was a professional football player at the time. We used to do sessions like first thing in the morning along at a park. Honestly, and I can remember doing that, and I'm sure I was charging £5 an hour. £5 for a session, I'm sure I was charging. And then I can remember I was doing an internship at the same time. So when I started personal training, I'm way off on a tangent here. I'm sorry. I will come back to talking about like
No,
what
go,
I
go,
offer
go.
Sandra and that. Yeah. Uh, I was doing an internship, and then eventually that guy that was coaching me, he set up a personal training company, and he asked if I wanted to be a personal trainer for that company, and I said yeah. But after about I think 6 months, I was pretty much just a gym instructor. Like I was just doing classes. I wasn't actually getting one-to-one
Oh,
clients, and I was like, I don't want like the £12.50 when I've like figured it out that you're making like probably like over £100. I was like, I want to be doing one-to-ones. I want to be like really getting into these individuals because I'm trying to coach each individual completely as an individual during the class. They were like, we can't, we're not getting enough response, we're not getting enough big enough impact. And at the time, I think I'd started to play about with social media as well. So I'd start to say like, look, I can help with the social media side of stuff. And they were like, nah, we're not really wanting to go down that route. And I was like, all right. And then I think I ended up then getting accepted to go to university at the time. And then I left. And then I tried to set up an online coaching. I think, what did I call it? It was like TS Online or something. I can't remember what we called it. But I had like 6 clients. The day I set it up, I got 6 clients that day. And I was like, this is going to rock it. This is going to rock it. But I was still working full time. And I think I just finished uni. So I had like 40 hours or like 45 hours a week in a clothes shop. Just finished uni. And then I decided, I had a conversation with people that I was like, I'm going to move back to Arbroath and I'm going to start TS Health and Fitness. And I wanted to call it
where
TS Health.
where were you at that point?
I was living up in Aberdeen when I was at university.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, so me and Lisa, we moved up there and we had a flat. We were living in a flat up there.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then we moved back. There's a whole big story in there, but I'm coming round. Yeah, and then started TS Health and Fitness. And the plan was always like, have you ever heard of Ben Coomber? He does those awesome
Mm-mm,
supplements.
mm-mm.
So I went to one of his seminars and he asked everybody like, "What's your goal? What's your goal?" And I was like, "I want to like make my town like a health and fitness hub. I want it to be that like health and fitness is cool." And I remember the way he looked at me. He was just like, "That's ambitious," and I was like, "Well, that's what I want to do. I want to make it that it's cool to be healthy and fit in my town."
Mm-hmm.
And that's still like the goal of TS Health and Fitness, and that's why there's like a few things in the works just now to try and make it easier for people to be involved in health and fitness, to eat healthier and help with their fitness, to get coaching, to get aid, to get support. Like there's a few things in the works. I don't know how much I can touch on. Fuck, I'm an open book.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things that we're trying to do, but all of that knowledge and experience, all those stuff, all that stuff that I've done, the internships, the degree, the college, like all that, I've said to all the coaches that started with us, I was like, I will teach you everything I know. I'm not going to hold anything back. I'll talk you through
Mm-hmm.
how I think when I'm speaking to people. I'll tell you books that I'm reading. I'll send you all the YouTube videos that I've watched for that day. I'll send you the podcasts. I'll give you the password. Sorry, anybody that's listening. I'll give you the passwords for all the courses that I sign up to do. Like, I just give them everything. And that, like I say, Cassandra had a pretty big following. She had a pretty big. Our business was slowly coming together. She was starting to get her things going. But that side of it, she was like, I don't know what I should be reading and where I should be studying. So if someone's going to help me with that, like I'm in. And I don't know if you listened to the podcast that we done. Like she says that she learned more in the first 6 months with me than she did in her first 6 years. Yeah, but that
Wow.
was through like you and I both know this. Like I don't know everything. You don't know everything. There's a lot of things that you could teach me about.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a couple things that I could teach you about. Like everybody knows that. And the quicker you can find someone's weaknesses or what they don't know a lot about, the quicker you can help them.
Mm-hmm.
So what I done is I put together 4 like quizzes. One was on nutrition, one
For
was
your
on
coaches.
biomechanics. Yeah, I put quizzes together, and I would get their
Wow.
answers back. And then what I would do is I would say like, look, you're not very strong with this, and this. So your personal development for this month is going to be this.
Genius.
Because David as well, if you're wanting to take on a coach, you need that person to be at least 80% of you. Like they become a client.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know how many human kinetic books you've got. Do you know the company Human
What
Kinetics?
books?
Human
No.
Kinetics. It's a company that produce books. They do. They've got millions. They're like academic books as well. And at the end of every chapter, they have questions. You're gonna love this
Okay.
when they come up. I've got one. This is maybe like when people, if people know about the cost of these books, this is where my money goes. This is how I reinvest in myself. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have like 14 other books.
You have to send a link to me, please, because everything's coming up at the moment when I Google it. Thank you.
I will. I will.
Thank you.
But yeah, they've got. In fact, I've got more because I've given a couple away to other PTs to read and study and to try and help them along the way.
Okay.
Human kinetics. I will remember that.
I also realized we're talking about everything but you again, so we definitely cannot miss out the fact that you got married. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And I want to hear all about it, and I'm sure everyone else wants to.
So, right, do you know what? I'll tell you. I wasn't into marriage. I wasn't that bothered about it. Will my parents listen? I don't know. A lot of people that I know. So my parents' marriage didn't work. My dad remarried and then got divorced again.
Yeah.
It didn't work. A lot of people close to me,
So,
like they're not happy in their relationships. Like I've seen it.
mhm.
And there was almost this like association that once you get married, there's like this boredom. You hear a lot of men, especially in my town. Oh well, that's it now. It's all downhill, and you're like, fuck. Right.
Mhm.
Well, me and Lisa had such a good thing for the 9 years that we'd been together that I was like, why change anything?
Exactly.
It's exactly how it needs to be. But I'm going to tell you, something does change, and I don't know what it is. I honestly don't. I don't know what it is, but something does change. It's odd, and people that'll tell like this is maybe something that you won't hear very much from like men as well. Is like it genuinely was like the best day of my life. Honestly, it was unbelievable. We're going down to see the photographer tomorrow, and I like cannot wait. Like I can't wait to look through the photos, and me and Lisa, we keep speaking about it. People keep sending us like, look at this video, look at this photo. Remember when this happened? Remember like. So my brother-in-law, so Lisa's mum and dad have passed away. So Lisa's brother walked her down the aisle, and then he done a speech as well. Honestly, it was just stunning. Like it was just amazing. Everything he said was like exactly what I would want to hear. A little bit of slagging off, but then like really welcoming. I just cried the whole way through my speech. Like I was an emotional wreck, honestly. And I've not been able to watch it back. People say I was all right, but like I've never had it where I'm like I can't speak. But that happened as well. And then my best man speech was brilliant. Honestly, just like everything. 5 minutes before, so as I was leaving to go to the venue, the heavens opened and it just started hammering down. And me and Lisa had been speaking a little bit back and forth, just like little things like, did you get this? I've got this. Have you remembered to pack this? Like just a couple little things. And then right before I was about to leave, she just messaged me, what the fuck, when it started raining. And I was like, oh my God. And as that happened, the organizer, the event organizer person, Kelly, if you are listening. So Kelly that I used to personal train, which is like beautiful as well. That I personal trained years ago. It's like come round to like she was at my wedding and everything as well. Like just unbelievable. She phoned and she was like, can I start or should I start taking things inside now? And I was just like, let's hold off for like 5-10 minutes. And she was like, okay. And then by some miracle, when I pulled into the venue, the rain stopped. It got a little bit windy. It blew the clouds away. And it was like blue skies. Yeah.
Mm.
And people will tell you it goes fast. It's an experience of time that no one can explain it to you until you experience it. Like it's like a blink of an eye. And I can only imagine it's what it feels like when you're close to dying. That like life is just gone like that. Do you know? Like I think it's just
Jesus.
like it's just so fast. And I imagine when we are close to dying, like life feels like it's just flown by. But it was like I can remember I was laid in my best man's garden. I was just laid there having a beer, and I was like, today's going pretty slow. Like this is pretty good. Like I can deal with this pace. Next thing I know, we'll try to get a taxi to go home. It was like
Wow.
it was like flashes. So like I was sat on that chair. I can remember that. I got in the car. It started raining. I got to the venue. Like 3 of my groomsmen or 4 of my groomsmen were there. Gave them all hugs. I knew there was like 3 jobs I needed to do. Next thing, I'm stood at the altar. Like we had this like tree that we stood at. Next thing, like I can remember a couple bits of the ceremony. Like the humanist that we got, he swore a couple times, and that like almost like brought me back to the moment. Next thing, I'm walking back up the aisle. Next thing I remember is like one of the waitresses giving me 2 glasses of prosecco, and she's like, "They're both for you." And I was already starting to feel drunk, and I was like, okay. And I started drinking them. Next thing I can remember, I was in the gardens. Me and Lisa were getting some photos taken. Next thing, I was doing my speech. And then the next thing, I remember kissing everybody. Like I was just hugging and kissing everybody. I was just like, honestly, it was just unbelievable. And I can't wait to start like sharing photos because I wanna share more about it because it's unbelievable. And this is here. I'll tell you what. Here's a little tangent for you. I said this a long time ago. I said it at someone's wedding. I love love. Like I think love is unbelievable. Like I think it's, and I actually tried. Here's a regret I've got. There was a book. It was all the science behind love. It was like a £200 book,
Oh,
and I
I
didn't
shouldn't
buy
have
it
read it.
because it was £200. I was like, I'm not buying it. But it was all the research. It was everything that had been done up until I don't know whatever year it was. I seen it, and I didn't buy it, and I can't find it anywhere because
Why would
like
you want to read that? Why would you want to justify it scientifically?
because it's unbelievable. Think about all the things you would do for love. Think about like what heartbreak feels like. Think about like people will say, "Oh, I love that." It's like a description, but to actually love something is it's like one of the highest tiers a human can feel. You know, it's like one of the biggest emotions you can feel. I love it. I do. And the day, our wedding day, ended up just being completely like it was just everywhere. Like other couples kissing and holding hands and cuddling, people dancing, like it was just unbelievable. So yeah, the wedding was exactly what we wanted, and I had no expectations. We'd been very laid back up until like the day before, where I had to try and get 2 kilts. I had a friend come from South Korea and a friend come from America, and the both of them thought that you could just walk into shops in Scotland and buy and like rent a kilt. It doesn't work like that. If anybody's listening, you have to get like sized up. They have to then order like the material or the kilt from a warehouse and then get it and then lease it out. And they
What?
didn't bring
Scotland
anything.
should be kilt ready
It should be.
at
It
any
should be.
point for anyone's. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be. So that was kind of stressful, like trying to sort that out for them because I wanted that to be perfect for them as well. Like I wanted it to be perfect for them because it was like an experience that they were going to get. They both really wanted to. So I did. I raced around, trying to get these kilts, and and I just couldn't get it. Like the sizes weren't right, the shoes didn't fit, like jackets were too big, like it just didn't work. So I just raced around, and it wasn't until about I think it must have been about 8:30 on Friday night before I actually got to just like stop. And I got married on the Saturday. Like I was like, just go, 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 go. But up until that Friday, I was like, everything's ready to go. Like this is going to be like, it's going to be what it is. And then I just, for some reason, like, I really wanted it to happen. But we made it work. We got kilts. We got them sorted.
Mhm.
But yeah,
How many
I
guests
like
did
the
you
wedding.
have?
Pardon?
How many guests did you have?
I want to say 65 during the day.
Right.
And then I think like 35, 40 at night extra came along.
Oh, okay.
I think that might be
Not a
way
lot.
off though, if I'm honest. That might be way off. Like this is
Mhm.
Lisa organised our wedding. She done everything on the lead up to it. Everything. I done
Oh,
nothing. I got my kilt sorted. That was it.
So
I got my
did
kilt.
she really want to get married, considering that it wasn't a desire of yours?
Uh, I guess that would be something I'd have to ask her. I think so. I asked her to marry me 9 years ago.
And she said no.
So we've been engaged for like 9 years or eight
Oh
years.
shit.
It'll be
Oh,
9 years this year. Yeah, after being together for a year, I
wow.
knew I was going to be spending the rest of my life with her. And
Mhm.
but I always say that. Like when I asked her, I said, "Will you spend the rest of your life with me?" I didn't ask her to marry me. But now we're married.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't
It's
like anybody
interesting
who's
what you
listening.
said
Like
about.
I wasn't putting it off.
Go on.
Like I wasn't putting it off, or like I knew Lisa wanted to, so I was going to do it, but I was never that bothered about it. And then I do wish I'd done it before her mum passed away. I would have loved it for
Mm,
her to be there, but you never know when these things are going to happen, do you? So
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it was unbelievable, genuinely unbelievable. Like, and that's the thing. Like I don't know how many blokes you do speak to that are like, it was fucking brilliant, like genuinely. But I ended up absolutely hammered, absolutely hammered.
Yeah, you posted the pictures.
There's a video of me dancing with my sister. Holy, I'm like, like falling about and everything. Yeah,
You
unbelievable.
should post it.
Maybe, maybe.
It's it's
I'm so
interesting what
looking.
you said about. Go on, go on, go on.
No one you go.
There's so much delay on this, by the way. That's why we keep interrupting each other.
Yeah, sorry. No,
Um,
you speak. I wasn't going to say anything.
it's so interesting what you said about not wanting to get married because there's this like perception of just like how men sometimes talk about it. Oh, my life is now ending. It's
Yeah,
so pathetic to be honest. And then the other thing is 50% of marriages end up in divorce. So in my head as well, that's the main reason why I don't want to get married. Robin really wants to, and we've been engaged for like 1.5 years now. They don't want to because 50% ends up with divorce. So if we never get married, then we can just stay together forever.
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's yeah. I do think though that the reason that it's as high as 50% though is because these guys are going into it with a mindset that that's life over, and they think if they get a divorce, life starts again. Whereas
Oh, shit.
you're
Mm,
already pretty happy in your relationship. You're not going into something hoping that it's going to make it better. You're going into something to potentially just
very true.
signify that like, look, I'm here, I'm committed. And I think there is a big part of that
Yeah.
for females. I think there is like an aspect of commitment. Maybe I'm.
Yeah, that's why we are. No, you're right. That's why we are engaged because she's a bit older. She needed to see commitment, right? So even if not getting married, at least something, right? So we can have
Yeah,
like kids in a safer environment.
100%, 100%. But mate, from me to you, it's your family's there, your loved ones are there. Like the days about you, you don't get very many days of your life. In fact, I don't know how many days ever you get that's about you and Robin. Your anniversary is more
Mm.
like you two celebrating. Nobody comes round being like, "Yes, man, that's 5 years you've been together, 10 years." Like you don't really get that, do you? Like nobody really gives a shit about your anniversary. People will say like, "Oh, congratulations,"
Mm.
but your wedding day is about you. And there's this weird, like honestly, everybody like jumps to help you. Everybody's like just
Mm.
the simple things is like no one will let you buy them a drink. They're like, no, I'm getting you one. Like it's about you. It's honestly,
Mhm.
it's if I could, I would do it again. I'd do it again this weekend. It was unbelievable, honestly.
Well, you can do every 10 years, right?
Well, we said that. In the way that it works in our relationship, because Lisa's 5 years older than me, it's her 40th this year. Be my
Okay.
40th in 5 years, and then in five
Mhm.
years from then it'll be our 10-year anniversary. Like everything in our
Mhm.
relationship's like almost like these next 5 years, and then there's something else in 5, and then 5 and 5. So we've always got like 5 years, and then the next big thing happens. This year's also like, it's her 40th. Her 40th is like the key thing. But yeah, big year for us. House, wedding, 40th. I learned to drive, passed my driving test. Big year.
Oh, really? Only now?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never needed to drive.
So what changed now?
Lockdown. Lockdown changed it.
What, 3 years ago?
Yeah. When we were in lockdown, so it took me like a year and a bit to be able to pass my test. I think actually it was just March, April, May. Like it took me 14 months to pass my test. So I started with 2 lessons a week. The driving instructor was like, right, you're in the position now where you could probably pass your test. But when you go and try and book your test, you're not going to get one for months. So I had to wait. It was like 7 or 8 months before I could get my test.
Oh.
Maybe not that long, but it was long. Like it was a long time. September, October, November, December, January, February. No, it was 8 months. It was 8 months. I had to wait 8 months.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So we pulled back to just like 1 lesson a week. I just liked getting it. Like my driving instructor, Graham, and if he's listening, I'm sorry I've still not thanked you again or dropped a card off for that. Like I do appreciate it, but I used to love just sitting and talking to him. Like, we'd just jump in the car for an hour. I'd drive about. We'd just chat about things. Chat about business. Chat about life. Chat about driving. Like, he would be teaching me. But then I would ask things as well. Like say I want to park quickly. How do I do that? And he would, like, show me how to do it. And, like he just taught me, like, little things, like, to actually drive. But, yeah, when we were in lockdown, I didn't like not listen. Like I listened to the rules. Obviously, I'd done everything that we were supposed to do. But if I was able to drive, I would have been just driving up the hills and stuff. Like I would have just been leaving town, and that made me realize like I can't. I'm stuck here. Whereas if I could have drove, I would have been up the hills. I would have been probably wild camping or something. Like I would have been doing stuff. I would have just done it. And that's people will judge me on that.
Does Lisa not drive?
Yes, she does. But that's another reason why I wanted to learn as well. Because there's times at weekends where I'm like, I want to go on a big adventure. I want to go drive to like the west coast of Scotland because I just want to see what it looks like. And Lisa's like, I'm not fucking driving that far. I've been driving all week. For her job, she has to drive. So, like now as well, when we go places, if I'm not absolutely knackered, because I'm worried as well because I'm not a very good driver. If I'm not absolutely knackered, I'll drive us.
Yet.
Yeah. So they were pretty much my 2 reasons. Like, I want to be able to drive Lisa places, and I want to be able to just, if I want to go up the hills, or if I want to go to Edinburgh, or if I want to be able to drive to Dundee, I just want to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. Especially where you live, you kind of like need it, right?
Yeah.
So next up,
yep,
honeymoon, south of France, Toulouse, while they were having like a mini revolution. Did that affect you? How was the whole thing?
So, funny story about us and booking places or holidays, right? First holiday together that we booked, I think that was America actually. And I don't think anything went too wrong then. We were maybe too new in our relationship to go that far for what we went for a wedding. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it though. I think that one went okay. But then we booked, or Lisa and her family, they booked for me to go to Dubai for my 30th. So 5 years ago. Do you remember the Beast from the East? The storm that just like locked everything down. That kicked off the day before we were going to Dubai. So there was like 3 feet of snow in like out like all around the airport.
You always have that same luck whenever you travel?
Always. Hey, so if we ever book a holiday, get ready for shit to hit the fan. So that year, that Beast from the East to go to Dubai. We then booked Canada to go in 2020. Global pandemic happened.
Yeah.
We all went into lockdown. I was going to mention in my speech, like the day that we decided to get married, we have this beautiful summer, early summer, and then it decides to rain on the day that we were going to get married, but it ended up clearing up. And then we booked Toulouse, and there's like riots and all sorts of stuff going on. When we messaged the Airbnb host or hostess, she was like, "It's not really happening down here." She was like, "There's not really anything happening." Bullshit. Mm-hmm. There was like French army with like red berets, fucking machine guns, just walking about the streets. Honestly, I just kept, every time we seen them, I was like, "Lisa, we need to get out of here. Like, we don't want to be around this."
Yeah,
because
it's
that's
stressful,
not going
right?
to just. Yeah. There was one place we went to. There was this like beautiful like courtyard bit, but it was right next to the canal, and there was always live music playing and people dancing. Always, like, I don't know what the dancing would be called, waltz, salsa, like that sort of stuff. I don't know if it, like proper partner dancing, and it was amazing. But there was this bunch of like students that were all getting like real boozed up, like I mean like real boozed up, just at a bar like over this courtyard. And this convoy of these army came round in cars, every car stacked with like 5, 6, 7 like big minibus things, and they all stop, and there's like 7 of them stood there with like machine guns and pistols, and they're just like staring at them. And I was like, "Lisa, we need to get out of here, like let's go." And we watched the dancing for a little bit, and then the convoy ended up leaving, but those army guys stayed there. And then there was one day where I definitely think it was a protest, but I think it was just a peaceful protest. But the police were in like riot gear, like they had like padded armor, riot shields, helmets, and they were just leaving it. Like we must have just missed the protest, but they were like just leaving, and it was all kind of quieting down. But that was like all we experienced of what was going on over there. With regards to Toulouse, unbelievable place. Honestly, everything's old. Everything's still old and left the way it was.
Yeah, this the whole of France. Why did you end up going there? How did you pick the place?
So we were going to do like a staycation, and we were going to drive around Scotland. But when we looked up Airbnbs, hotels, bed and breakfasts, it was like £200 a night for like everything and everywhere we wanted to go. And we were like, that's pretty expensive. Like to be driving around, to just be getting a bed, I was like, I don't know. Like 200 was like the cheapest. Like it was like 5, 6, 7, £800 a night. So we looked on. I think Lisa looked on Skyscanner, and there was like flights to Toulouse for like £30, and then Airbnbs were like £50 a night. And we were like, let's just go. Let's just go. Like I don't know what's there. In the airport before we flew, I was like researching top 10 things to do in Toulouse, foods you need to try, places you need to see. Like I was just Googling it all and figuring stuff out. But it's one of those places that like every street you walk up, there's something you want to look at. Whether it's a cathedral, whether it's like the old style of buildings, like there's courtyards everywhere. There's gardens, like they're not even gardens, they're like parks, like big parks, loads of green, monuments and statues and fountains in them. And it's like everywhere you go, like you could just be in like a really residential area. And you pop out like the end of a street and there's just a huge park, and you're like, wow, let's sit there for 10 minutes. Have you been before? Or you have?
No. Have you been to Paris?
I've been through it. I think we walked about a little bit.
Right.
I was young.
I'm in love with Paris. Like how you're describing Toulouse is how Paris is for me. Like everything, just history all around you. Everything tells a story, and it's pretty well preserved as well.
Yeah, I loved it. I genuinely loved it. Like there was like little things as well. Like, and I don't know the full story, but I tried to look it up. There was a zoo that lost. Like a bunch of parakeets managed to escape. They all got out, and we were like walking along, like this really, like I mean, like real, like cosmopolitan, like shops everywhere, like McDonald's and everything. Swarm of parakeets just flew past and like disappeared, and I was like, what the fuck was they were green. They were green birds. Flew past.
I don't know what
and
a
we kept
parakeet is.
walking. Wait till you see this, honestly. So we kept walking, and they must fly in circles around this same bit.
Okay.
And they just kept doing it. Like they kept flying past us. They just go around in circles around this same bit, and it was honestly like unbelievable. Honestly. Last night there was a bad thunderstorm, which was kind of cool to be in amongst. Thunder,
Mhm.
lightning, really
How
heavy
many
rain.
how many days did you do?
So we flew Tuesday morning. So we had like all day Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then came home Saturday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Okay.
Friday, 4 days.
Yeah, 5. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, it was unbelievable. So listen to this as well. Toulouse University is connected to the hospital and then another campus by a ski. What are they called? What are they called? Those things? Like I don't know if you've seen on my stories. We went up in this like what the hell? I can't believe I can't
Oh,
remember
yeah,
what they're
yeah, yeah.
called.
Cable thingy.
No, is it gondola? Cable car? I don't know what the hell they're called. But
I think
that's how
they're
they're connected.
cable car, I think. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like one part of the campus is connected to the hospital, and then the other part of the campus, because there's like a big mountain in the middle of them, with this cable
Mm.
car thing. And public transport over there, you would pay, I think it was like €1.50, €1.49 for a day ticket, and that got you on the tram, it got you on the train, it got you on the bus, and it got you on the cable car.
Mm.
For the whole day. You could just jump on and off, see everything, go everywhere. Bro, I'd recommend going. It's it's cheap.
It's my number one on the list.
Honestly, I think you would like it. If you like Paris and you like that sort of like, you'd be able to walk into a city, there's like nice designer clothes shops, you take another 10 steps, you're in a beautiful park with like kids jumping in a fountain. You go out the park to the other side, there's people dancing some sort of crazy salsa thing, like with live music. Like, you can eat outside, you can drink outside, it's hot. Yeah, I loved it. I would go back. I think 4 days isn't enough though, because there's cathedrals everywhere. They're all open. There's monasteries open. You
Yeah.
can just go in them. The canal tour was cool. Something I did notice though, a lot of places you would go in, you would say like, "Do you speak English?" And I would try and ask it as politely as I could in French, and they would just be like, "No." And then they would just, the next thing that they would say would be, "Are you here to eat or are you here to drink?" In English. And I was like, "You do speak English." And then they would just speak in English the whole time, but they would say no.
I have to defend them. I think they have, this is now a self-fulfilling prophecy where people from France, you just have this prejudice against them, and that whatever they say, it's just you take it as them being bitchy. Like when we were in Paris, every time French people were so nice with us, like going out of their way to help us, and no one believes it, you know?
Don't get me wrong, like I didn't think they were being rude. I didn't expect, do you know what I mean? I'm in France. Why would I expect them to speak my language? I should be speaking there. Like I know that. The fortunate thing for me though is, like we said earlier on, like I feel like I'm quite good with people. Even if I can't speak to them.
Yeah.
I can smile in a way, I can say thank you, I can say merci, I can
You can
like
smile in
try.
French, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can smile in French. And we would, like, people would help us out. They would like try and
Mm.
work with us. Um, we had an issue with our taxi to get back to the airport the last, like on Saturday morning. And it was like 4:30. We booked it online, but the taxi just missed our street and then couldn't find us. Because there's a lot of like one-way systems where we stayed. And he couldn't
Mm-mm.
find how to get back to us. So he didn't come get us. So we phoned the company, but the woman that answered the phone didn't speak any English. So I was having to put in Google Translate. We booked a taxi on the internet. We don't really speak French. We're sorry. Can you please help? And she was like, "I'm going to put you on hold." And like 5 minutes later, a really good English speaking woman came on and like sent a taxi within like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that second woman wasn't French. Joking.
Yeah, she was from Dundee. Yeah, no, she was like so helpful.
Mm.
But no, I didn't think they were like, I know they get this like, they're up themselves and they get like, they're up. I don't think they are. I really don't think they are. I actually thought they were quite cool. I thought they were quite laid back. Um,
Mm.
I liked, like, I thought it was quite a slow pace. Like, I felt it was a bit like Amsterdam, like slow, like just take time, just you sit, enjoy yourself. Like it wasn't like, come on, eat, leave, eat, leave. It was like, hey, that table's yours for the night. Like just sit, drink,
Mhm, mhm.
talk. talking. They speak so much. Like, they all speak to each other so much for so long. All night. Like, they all talk. And it could be like one-on-one. And they talk all night. No urgency, no... It was cool. Everybody dressed nice. I thought that. I liked that. Like, everybody put an effort into how they were dressed. Like, there was nobody just, like, scruffy or... Like, it was, like, nicely dressed. I
Did
thought
Lisa like it as much as you did?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think so. Loads of museums, loads of art galleries. If you like that sort of stuff, like as well, there's loads of that all over. It's a great place. I'd recommend it to everybody. There's loads.
And there's
stuff.
so many other places around there as well. Because Toulouse is just one of so many there.
Yeah. And I feel like we only seen like a third of the city. Like, honestly, and we walked everywhere, and I was like trying to zigzag across every street. There's like it's almost like a D shape. Like, there's like a big canal, but it's like that way. There's like a small canal. Is it that way? I think it's like that way. There's like a big canal, and then a small canal that runs out, and then all in here's city, and then the outside of here's all city, but I think it gets maybe like a little bit rougher, or like less tourist friendly. And then the other side of this canal, there's like another, like a reverse D, capital D, and there's all university. There's like industrial estates. There's all stuff in there as well. And we pretty much only seen like 75% of like one small part of the inside of the D.
Right.
Genuinely, there's a space museum. I wanted to go to that, but it was just too hot to be walking about outside like that. They have like a life-size space shuttle, like actual like to size, so you can walk under it. Yeah. It's honestly, you should look it up. I can't remember what it's called. It's like museum space, but it's. I don't think that's right.
Toulouse Space Museum. I think it's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, it will definitely pop up.
Okay.
But yeah, that's like one of the key attractions, I think, and I think there is like actual bits of things that have been in space and.
Oh crap! So that's not a statue. That's an actual thing.
Yeah, I think so.
That's cool.
But it was just too hot to be like outside constantly, because there was no shelter either. Like, when you go, you can see it there. It's just like outside. Oh, how did you get over here? There's a baby seagull stuck on our roof. How did you get there? Fuck's sake! It must be able to fly.
If you got up there, then probably, right?
No, they nest on the roof, and it's like
shit.
falling down. Why are you looking at me? I'm not going to do anything for you.
You're the mom now.
Well, do you know what? I nearly did feed it earlier on, because I thought it was a way to die. Like, I felt sorry for it. Okay. See, now you're stuck on there. What are you going to do? That's a cable. Don't chew that. I think it has something wrong with it, and I think the mum's just like left it. It's like, it is genuinely like looking in the window at me. If I move my webcam, though, it'll unplug. God damn it! It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know if we spoke enough about me. I don't know if you know enough about me. Is there anything else that you want to? I've got a couple of questions. I don't know will people still be listening. Hour in? Do you listen to more than an hour of podcast?
If I decide to start your podcast, I finish it.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I do. So yeah, if you book Toulouse, you need to tell me when you're going, because there's a couple places that like we didn't find out about until the last day, and then we couldn't even book a table in them because they were too busy. There was a couple places that a guy that had like the top-rated pastry shop or bakery. I think it was just a cafe that he had really good pastries in. And I got speaking to him for a little bit. His tattoos. He had do you know, like an Italian on stove, like bielatelli? Is that what they're called? Do you know, like the on stove coffee pots? They're like silver. You'll have seen one before. I'm just describing it.
Yeah.
And he had a croissant on the other arm.
Wow.
Honest. And I got talking to him, and he was a baker by trade, and he used to have a really good bakery in Canada, and then he decided to open up this place in Toulouse, and it's like the top rated place. It's like everybody was like 5 stars. You need to get a pastry from here. So we went in on like the last day, got an almond croissant and this like chocolate knot thing, and they were both honestly
Okay.
unbelievable. Yeah, and he was like, "I'm gonna tell you what. There's a few restaurants that if you guys like this sort of thing, you should go to these places." He was like, a couple of them were quite like upper market, but he was like, once you're in there, he's like, you're there all night, you'll get looked after. Tell him I sent you. Like, he was nice as anything. But it was like our last night. What did we end up eating?
Mm.
Oh, we ended up at this like Lebanese place instead.
So whoever goes to Toulouse has to seek out the baker first for
Yeah,
recommendations.
in a place called Loma. That's what it was called.
Okay.
Loma. It's just little. It's like it's like there's like a street that comes along, and then it goes back, and he's like right on the corner, and it's just this tiny like little cafe. I think it only had 3 tables in it, but it had like a big bit out the back for like bacon, and it was him and his wife, just him and his wife. Legend. He was nice as anything. Such a nice guy. Loma, that's what it was called. But right, let's talk about you, because you're away to go travelling soon.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. What do you want to hear?
So you're a guy that is very organised, very thought out. What's the plan? Like, do you have a plan going forward?
Plan for the travel or plan for life or
Travel. I know you've got a life
travel?
plan.
This is
Jesus
the
Christ.
I don't really. I have a job and career plan and nothing else. And this is the first trip finally that we're taking where I had nothing to do with it. Because usually whenever we go anywhere, I have to plan everything. And because of how I am, I plan everything to the last detail. So it's a lot of effort. Whereas this one, Robbie wanted to go to Bali. I'm like, okay, well, let's. If we have to, I would have so many other places to go, like South of France being the first one. But if we go there, I'm not gonna organize anything. It's her trip. So I don't know anything.
Can you hear that? That
No.
seagull's trying to climb up to my window.
Knocking on the window?
I'm going to
Oh
take a photo.
jeez. Just let it in.
Just come and join the podcast. Look, I'm going to send you a photo.
Okay.
This thing's not well.
Oh. Where are you sending it? What's up?
I'll send it through WhatsApp, yeah. And he just tried to like climb up to the window. You'll see he's on like a little roof, and then
Oh jeez. This is not even as baby. You know, I imagine like something like four
like
inches.
tiny. No, have you ever seen a seagull egg?
No. Massive?
They're pretty big. Seagulls
Wow.
hatch quite big.
Okay. This view is insane, by the way.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
I showed this
Very, very
picture
lucky.
to people
There you
that
go.
might
There's,
be watching it.
there's the seagull.
There's the seagull, and this is the view with an ice cream
Yeah,
van, Tom's personal ice cream van there.
it's Smokey's van. Our Smokey's van. Yeah, so you actually don't have a clue what's going to happen. You don't know. You just know you're going to Bali, and then
Zero idea. And mostly we will be working, and my online business like happened to have exploded as well, like the past 3 weeks or something. So
yeah,
I will be
yeah,
busy with online.
that's good. That's good. How have you found like setting that volume of people up? Has it been all right?
Easy peasy.
Yes,
I just
that's
need
good,
to
man.
work from 7 a.m. till 11 p.m.
Yeah, jeez. See, I think that's the side of this that people don't see or don't understand. Like I was thinking about this just the other day.
No.
Like I think for a lot of people, personal trainer is like a fallback idea. Well, like if this doesn't work, I'll just become a personal trainer. Like I think a lot of people think
Mhm.
that. It's on social hours. It's like around the clock graft. It's like dealing with someone on a one-to-one personal level is not like what I expected it to be when I started. I thought
Yeah, I
people
know.
would just want to come in, train, eat right, leave. That would be it. That's what I thought it was going to be.
No, but it also wouldn't be fun if it was just about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send you another photo. Oh, it's gone. Another bird arrived and it
Gone?
was just like looking at that seagull.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it would be. And I think what I like about it is you never know what someone's going to message. Like, every time someone messages, you're like, is something gone wrong or is something going really right? Are they feeling amazing? Are they not managing to stick to the plan? Like, there's so many different things it can be.
huh.
Yeah. Hey, so I got a few silly questions for you to answer. You want to
Mhm.
answer them?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Do you prefer listening to gym music or listening to your own music when you train?
Oh, fuck gym music. It's always the worst music. It's like more neurotic elevator music, honestly.
That's hilarious. And what sort of music do you listen to when you do train?
Well, that's the sort of music no one would listen to. It's if you have to put it in a category, it's called pagan folk music. You would call it like Viking, maybe?
Oh, I used to.
It's
A guy
just
used to listen to like Viking death metal. It's not like that, is it?
death metal. No, 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 no. It's traditional instruments, but it's also very aggressive. Non Like you don't understand anything they say.
Did you hear that seagull there?
Of course we heard.
Well, that seagull just attacked that baby seagull.
All right, well, the baby
Oh
seagull is not gonna be there for very long anymore.
no!
You can create an Attenborough
Oh my
documentary.
god! I hate seeing things dying, especially animals. Oh my god!
What do you mean, especially animals?
Oh, I like animals more than people.
Wow.
Oh god. Okay, so that's the kind of music you listen to. Does that get you like fired up, or is it just like you like? It's just you just hear it.
Yeah, 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 fired up,
Yeah.
yeah. But whether I'm firing up for sleep or showering or gym or achieving something, it's always the same music. It's just power music for me.
Yeah. Do you? Actually, congratulations on your photo shoot. You looked amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't. Yeah, thanks. Even you were happy with it. You said you were happy with
I
it. You
was
said
happy
you were happy with it.
for some reason I was happy with how the video looked. I'm really not happy how the pictures look to the point where I still haven't even selected the ones to be corrected, you know?
It's hard for photos to do you justice how lean you are. I think.
I always loved my photo shoot pictures. This is the first photo shoot I'm out of three that I'm not happy with.
Oh really?
And I was leaner and bigger than ever before, so I don't didn't really understand. I don't know.
What did you do different? Like, was there anything that you guys like the photos, the
I
composition,
mean,
anything
we,
different?
we did we did we did the peaking properly, like even played with water and everything. And I think it went well, but at the same time, I just felt like someone asked me how it went, and I said I felt like I was just big, brown, shiny, and smooth. And I was like, what is big, brown, shiny, and smooth? And they're like, poop? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly.
Jeez, that's hilarious. No, I thought you looked class. You still look
Oh,
class. Like you
thanks.
still look unbelievable.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And you said you want to keep like that until September.
Yeah, yeah. So while we're in Bali, it will be interesting to see.
And you feel like all everything's back to 100% David. Like there's no.
That was crazy. Yeah, like there was no food focus, no cravings afterwards, just for about a week, and that was it.
Yeah, that's wild. It's good though.
But past two times I did it, I ballooned up both times.
Yeah.
Like I got really fat after my photo shoot twice, whereas now, zero.
I've done a post on this before. I think you get better at fat loss, and I
Yeah.
think you
On
understand what happens at the end.
I keep thinking about that so much because on one hand you understand how it's going, you understand how to manipulate it, how to adapt to it better. On the other hand, some people just don't want to do it more than once and it loses its magic. So I think first time is the best time.
Yeah,
Second time is the worst time. And then if you do it more than that, it's
yeah,
getting better again.
yeah. My first time, I got so much from it. Like I think it like
Yeah.
shaped me as a human. Like I learned that I was like spoiling myself. I learned that I had to treat myself with like buying myself. Like I learned that, and I was like, I don't need to do that. I don't need anything. Like when I was dieting my first time round, I cut out pre-workout because I was like, I don't want to rely on anything. I stopped training with someone. Like honestly,
You
like
just wanted to make yourself miserable.
yeah, pretty much. Seagull's gone, thank God. No longer my
Thank
my
God.
issue. And it can fly, but just not very well. Um, music, I wouldn't let it be like that's a bad song. I'd be like, it doesn't mean anything. Just do your set. Like I tried to just like pull everything. My biggest like dopamine
Jeez.
spike of the day was my coffee. My coffee in the morning. That was it.
Wow.
Uh, I loved how hard it got the first time as well. Like you know when you first experience hunger, like back to back to back days. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I can remember being like to my coach, like we've got something wrong. Like this isn't healthy. We need to stop this. And he was like, nah, this is just part of it. And
Obviously, it's not healthy. Exactly.
Nah. I was like, no, I've pushed too hard. I've gone too far. And he was like, there's still a long way to go, buddy. And I was just like, oh, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can.
Wow.
uh,
I created a video on this. That like 4 days before the photo shoot when I was doing fat loading, zero carb, high fat. That's when I think I looked one of the best, but I felt terrible because basically you barely eat, and at that point you go into like no carb, keto, whatever.
yeah.
So the day before my birthday, 5 days before the photo shoot, I was just on a Sunday laying on the couch all day trying not to throw up because I was feeling so bad.
It's nuts how bad you have to feel. Do you do you know what like the science is behind like fat loading and then carb loading after?
I mean, not really, other than your body has some fat stores as well, right?
Yeah.
Intramuscular triglycerides, and then you just load that up a little. That's it.
Yeah,
Other than
that's
that, I don't
that's
know much about the science.
that's all I've ever heard. And I
Yeah.
something that I've also spoke to a few coaches about now is like the difference that they see. Some coaches say
Mhm.
like no difference. They don't see any difference than if someone was to just continue to keep carbs in and then carb up.
Mhm.
And then there's other coaches that have been like, oh yeah, I feel like clients look leaner with more of a pop. I don't know.
Yeah, because
I
you
don't.
drive a lot of water out, I think. With no carbs, you lose a lot of water.
Yeah.
So nowadays I've been playing with just loading carbing up and then having like a high fat day after the day before the shoot. Might be
Yep.
stupid, but it's working out for clients. Like as long as you don't have to be big, but you have to be lean, it's looking
Yeah.
pretty good, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. 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 We never
My
ran it
fat
with
loading
me.
days were no.
No, no. So your fat loading days were
I think when I felt like I looked the best, but I
I
just
wonder if
dropped
you
a
were the same.
lot of water.
Yeah. Yeah. And you would expect that. Like once you cut carbs out,
Yeah, yeah.
the
So
water retention
yeah, so
drops.
last week I dropped like 3 kilos.
Fuck.
Last week of my photo shoot.
I bet that hurt. Oh my god. Yeah, we never ran it for me. But to be fair, when I competed, I still think I looked a bit soft. Like I need to get leaner next time. I need to get way leaner next time.
You want to compete again?
Yeah, I'm gonna compete again in 2025.
Oh shit. Okay. Wow. Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna compete again in 2025. I need to bulk. I need to get bigger. Um, I want to be very competitive, even though I came third, and for like a lot of people that's like whoa. But you have to understand that like I came third in my class. Then in a class, like in your class, there's like overalls. So the top three people, like the first place is from your class. So men's physique for me. There's short, medium, and tall. They all then get pulled into one category. I didn't even get into that. Like so, that's the top three of the show. I just came third in my men's physique tall. I want to be like I want to be winning shows by that I mean I want to win the overall. I want to be the best men's physique overall. And I actually have it in my head as well that I'd quite like to win the Worlds. So the UKDFBA, they do a Worlds, and the WNBF, they do a Worlds, and I want to win them. So I need to get bigger. I need to get a lot bigger. A lot bigger.
I'm jealous you're in the position to even think about these things and find them realistic.
Hey, I don't know if they're realistic. It's just where I'm aiming.
They they are realistic.
I think if you don't aim high enough, you're not going to get excited enough. You're not going to put the work in that needs work done to do it. So just aim as high as you possibly fucking can.
If you aim too high, you discourage yourself. That's why I stopped playing guitar after 15 years. Did I ever tell you?
Yeah, you said you were going to start playing again though.
No, I played for 15 years. I was in top 20 in Hungary for pretty much the whole of the 15 years. So I was pretty good. And then one day I went to a concert, French artist. The guy started playing, and I was like, okay, well, that's the end of my career because I'll just never be this good. And after that, I genuinely never played again, pretty much.
But you said after I'd taken ayahuasca, you were going to start playing again.
I did play a little. It was different. So I kind of repaired my relationship with the guitar. It's not like I don't feel as bad about not being as good anymore,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I still that's how it ended. That basically, I feel like if you aim too high, you discourage yourself. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, get rid of that shit. Get rid of that idea. Because who's to say you
Okay.
couldn't become as good as that French guy? I know you feel like
I
there's no
mean,
way you could. You ever heard the saying, he who thinks he can, he who thinks he can't, they're both right? We put
yes,
your
and I
faith.
agree with that. That's the most annoying part that I actually agree with that saying. But there are obviously levels to it. Only
Yeah.
one person can be the best, you know? And they're
Hey,
usually
so
in
you
China.
where they're like specialized, yeah. But this is like a big thing that I say to myself with I've got these goals, okay? I need to earn my spot at that table. Like I can't just say now that that's what I'm going to do. I have to do what it takes to get to the table to then be able to sit at it. And I don't know, like maybe if you sat down with that French guy and you were like, I need you to mentor me, I need you to start being my instructor, he would have been like, okay, this is how often you're going to practice, this is what I need you to practice, this is what I need you to bring up. They would maybe know.
I would have had to go through so many mentors to get to the stage where he can mentor me that it wouldn't have been realistic. Or maybe
Right.
not realistic. I wouldn't have been willing to make the what it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like I am just now. I'm willing to train 5 days a week. I'm willing to hit my calories every day. I'm willing to do the steps I need to do. I'm willing to do the cardio. I'm willing to get fat. Like, I'm going to have to get really fat this time round.
Yeah, yeah.
And then next year, I don't think I'll have to get as fat, but I'll probably have to push up again pretty hard next year. Um,
Mhm.
like, I think we're going to have to push, like, up above 105 kilos.
Jeez. Wow.
Probably higher. There was a guy that competed this year that was on stage at 93. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So if
Crazy.
I compete against him, I'm going to have to make sure I bring my absolute best that day. And there's probably a good.
Yeah.
In fact, I won't because he won his pro card. I won't have to compete against him.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah. But hey, I don't know if anybody's still listening. But if you are, thank you. We appreciate it. David, I don't know if there's anything.
Right.
Oh, so what I was also going to ask you, who are some of your favorite like social media accounts? Either
You.
influencers, people that train, science stuff. Like, who are some of your favorite
It's
accounts?
it's without a doubt TS Health and Fitness and Cassandra_TSHF.
You're fucking at it, but we appreciate it.
I'm trying to not consume as much social media these days, actually. Um,
Yeah.
and in order to get more followers, I actually outsource it to my assistant to start following people to get a follow back, which means I'm following now 2,000 people, which also means my Instagram is unusable because anyone that pops up on my feed, I don't know who the fuck they are. So
Yeah.
it's working so well because I stopped using Instagram. It's the best thing ever.
That's what you want. Get away from it.
Yeah, so I don't know who the favorite account is, honestly.
Are you studying?
And
Are
if
you researching anything just now?
and if I had a favorite account, it probably wouldn't be fitness, actually.
No.
No, I'm not studying anything. You know what? I realized where I want to be with my life and business. There are three things that were ever a limitation. One, my technical knowledge, so how I deal with clients and how I get them results. My business knowledge, so how much I can grow the company, and my personality, so both the mindset and like how I am as a person that could limit me. And I realized not that I won't learn anymore, but the technicality of it is not a limiting factor anymore. If I never learn anything new and I keep getting these results with people, I can still get to the point where I want to be. And I will still learn because I love the whole thing of it. But I have to work on these two instead now. I have to become better at business and I have to become better as a person. And I know this is against what you think because you're always like, oh, just get better results, just be a better coach and stop just aiming for the millions and growing your business because it will grow if you get good results. But I feel like I'm getting good enough results.
Yeah, I'd say you are. I definitely think. But I think that. But it's like business is like training. Like you have to put in months of work and then you suddenly get progress. Put in
Yeah.
months of work, you get progress. And I think you've put in all the progress. You've shared all your transformations. You've shared your knowledge, and now you've had this influx of clients. But it's because you've been consistent. It's not just overnight. It's the months that you've put
Mm-hmm.
in. These people have been seeing your stuff, and they're like, actually, I quite like him. You've maybe then put out a thing being like, I'm taking on clients. Oh, fuck, he knows his stuff. He's getting results. I'm gonna go with him. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the other thing is when you figure out the business thing, that's when you can actually help more people because ultimately it's a little bit of a zero-sum game, you know?
Yeah.
Like these people that want to coach will sign up with someone. So it's a matter of whether they sign up with someone like you or I that they will get
Yeah.
the result with, that will serve them, or they sign up with a shithead that just takes their money and they don't get anything for it. So ultimately,
You know?
it's our duty to put ourselves out there and take the traffic from everyone else.
Yeah. 100%. Like like I always think that. Like I'm like I could be saving someone from a shit coach because this is
Exactly.
something that I was talking to someone recently about. That like if you're a good personal trainer, if you're a shit personal trainer, and you have a client is going to be loyal to you. Like a client is going to think you are the best personal trainer since sliced bread. But then what they do is they then class that as personal training. Whatever you provide is
Mm-hmm.
what they think is personal training. So if someone gets a standard down here, they think this is what everybody does. Like they
Yep.
think this is it. This is as good as it gets. That's just, like this person's
Yep.
brilliant. That's all that they do. But there are PTs out there that are doing like up here, going above and beyond, doing
Mm-hmm.
everything they possibly can to help you. They're empathetic, they're understanding, they actually have knowledge and experience. This person down here's done like a
Mm-hmm.
6 week course, just passed out like their level 3, that they've paid like 2.5 grand to someone else that doesn't know what they're talking about, that's never ran a personal training business. That they then think,
Yep.
oh yeah, I'm gonna talk you through it. Like it's a
Yep.
shame, but it's kind of cool at the same time that like if you can get someone, you show what they show you can do. They'll say that you are the best thing since sliced bread. It's just a shame that some people try and save a couple pound to go to someone crap.
What I'm what I'm worried about is I feel like whether they sign up with this personal trainer or this personal trainer, they always think whatever you said, that you're the best thing since sliced bread or whatever the
Sliced bread,
expression is.
yeah.
And that's what's scary to me. Like I see all these people, shitty performance, and all their clients think, wow, they are the best PT, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what's scary to me because if they sign up with someone that's really not the best, then they might just stick with them forever without actually ever getting a result.
Yeah. Yeah. And they think that's just what it is because that personal trainer's probably
Yeah,
saying to them,
exactly.
"Oh, you're just not eating enough and you're in starvation mode," and you're
Exactly.
like,
Always putting the blame on the client. Yeah, yeah.
"Yeah, yeah." Oh, you didn't stick exactly to the plan, so that's why it's not working. Like,
Which, which by the way, I don't know how like internally your business works, or I don't know how you coach people, but I'm pretty sure that you never say, "Oh, it's because you're not sticking to the plan," or "Oh, it's because you're not working hard enough." I mean, sometimes you have to kick someone in the ass, obviously, but ultimately, you're the coach and you have to figure out a way to help them, right?
exactly. It's in that point there. This is something that annoys me. Like something that I was taught when I first started personal training is like you're not going to help everyone. And we've spoke about this before actually. Like we're at a point now where I think TS Health and Fitness is at like 95% success. Like people that come through the door, 95 people leave looking better, feeling better, have a transformation photo, and want to leave like a gleaming testimonial. There's 5% of people like they're not that. They don't want to do what we have asked them to do. They thought we were going to be like wizards and just wave a magic wand over them. There's sometimes personal stuff, sometimes financial stuff. Like there are those 5%. That does happen,
Yeah.
and that's understandable. But I can remember getting told like you can't help everyone. And then what I was starting to realize is like you can, you've just not said the right thing to them yet.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you're saying there, like it's
Yeah.
our job to figure out. Like some people, like as soon as you remind them of your goal, remember you said you wanted to achieve this. They're like, you're right, I did say that, and I do want that. There's other people like you say, you kick them up the ass, you'd be like, look, you're just not doing enough. Like you're not doing good enough.
Mhm.
You're doing enough to stay where you are, but if you do a little bit more, we're going to get you to where you want to. And that could be a little bit more on like track slightly more accurately. Make sure you hit your steps every single day, not just 3 days, not just two. And then there's other people that you know, like you need to pull them back. Hey, look, I think you're trying to do too much. I think you're taking a bit too much on just now, and potentially putting too much pressure on the results you're going to get. And there's obviously like another 1,000 things that you could say to people. So you'll know yourself. There's some people you can say like, "Do you want to be the baddest motherfucker in the gym?" And they're like, "Yeah, I do." And then you're like, "Well, not checking in, moaning about being hungry. Those things aren't going to get you there." And they're like, I'm
Mhm.
never, I'm there. I'm going." There's other
Mhm.
people that will say that they want that, but then you actually have to look like dig a little bit deeper, and you find out that like you're actually just like you do actually just want to lose a couple pounds. Like you only want to lose 2 or 3 pounds, and you will feel better about yourself, and that's all you need to do. So let's not put too much
Mhm.
pressure on yourself to be doing absolutely everything, to be training like a professional athlete. Like let's slow down. And again, sometimes that is all people need.
Yeah.
I do. I think
And,
I think everybody can be helped. You've just got to figure out the right thing to say to them.
and that's the difference between coaching and dictatorship, right? Because
Yeah.
when you're coaching someone, you have to figure out how to help them and what to say to them and how. Whereas
Yeah.
what these guys do is just a dictatorship. Eat chicken and broccoli 4 times a day. Oh, you're not doing that. Oh, you're not working hard enough. That's why you're not getting a result.
Yeah.
You.
Totally. I've also been thinking a
Do
lot
you
about recently about. No, on you go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You talk.
sorry, do you take it on yourself, like when someone doesn't get a result?
Yeah, 100%. Because I think there's something that person needs to hear that I've just not said. So what I will try and do is I'll try and get like feedback or a testimonial from them to find out what I didn't do.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like, "Oh, you didn't do anything." Sometimes they're like I just try and find out. Sometimes I'll ask them like,
But how much
and
does
what
it
I'll try
ruin
and
you
do is,
emotionally?
pardon?
How much does it ruin you emotionally when someone doesn't get the result or doesn't get the outcome they want?
Uh, Someone's just knocked on our door. Sorry, and they're asking about the seagull. If Lisa comes up, I'm gonna have to answer her. Do I emotionally? Lisa, it flew away over to the right hand side.
To the right, so past us.
Yeah. It flew over towards like the fish place. I don't think so. It might be in next door's garden. So emotionally, I think I sometimes do feel like I've let them down, but I don't like let it beat me up or like. I just think like that. Like I think that person like this because everybody something inspires everyone, and it's always different. Like for me, sometimes. Pardon me. I can just listen to like a motivational video and I feel inspired. I feel motivated. That's me. Other people hear motivational things and they're like, "That's fucking cheesy. That's cliche." Like, no, I'm not listening to that. You can't wish yourself better. Like maybe you don't think you can, but sometimes I feel like you can. Like I said as well, like I've got a couple clients that I'll say to them during a set, like, do not dare let that weight beat you, and you just see their face like, that's not fucking beating me. And then there's other clients that I say to them, holy shit, you're looking strong today. And they're just like, really? Like, and I think there's something that everyone can just hear that just flicks the switch in them. I really do. Because I think that, like, because people are so heavily influenced by their surrounding and their closest peers and their family, like, I think there's something, like, even if it is, like, some absolute scumbag that they've looked up to their whole life was to then say to them, look, by the way, if you were actually to not do what I do and do this, you would achieve X, Y, Z. And then they would be like, oh, well, I've looked up to you my whole life. I'm going to believe you. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's people that like go and kill people for other people because they just think that that person knows better. You know, like there's, I think there is. I think there's something. I think there's something in everybody. And it's just finding that switch to flick for them. But for me, a little bit. Sometimes do you know what annoys me more? If someone sticks with me and I can't get through to them. Do you know, I'll like suggest, like, look, what you're doing is too much. Or you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Or what the way you're doing this is only going to lead to coming back to the start. But they're like, no, my way's better. That annoys me the most. Like that actually, like
those people shouldn't sign up for coaching.
Yeah, people that just want to have a coach but do it their way. Like obviously everybody's got their own way. But like unfortunately, if you are listening still, like and you're trying to make progress and not making progress, but keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's not going to suddenly change. Like what changes is what you were doing. That's like the most upsetting thing for me. Like when you know you could help someone and you're giving them the help, you're trying to, like, maybe the progress is going to be a little slower for 1 week. You're trying to help them and they're like, nah, this doesn't work. That's like the most upsetting thing. Because I can remember being like a knucklehead and like not listening to coaches when they were trying to tell me to do stuff and I was like, I fucking know better. And I didn't. Yeah. But in hindsight, we'd all be millionaires, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Do you get upset if you don't get, or do you feel like emotionally when you don't get someone reserved?
Traumatized. It ruins me completely. That's why I have to make everyone happy so I don't get ruined. It's purely for selfish reasons.
I hear you. That's why I try and help so many people. Makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I need to leave you. Yeah. I just realized I still haven't eaten, so.
Yeah, I've got to go train.
And
right,
look
David.
At the seagull.
I think he's gone now. But right, we need to. Is it September that you leave, or is it like this weekend?
Saturday.
You head Saturday. Well, my man, have a safe travel. Have a fantastic time. Once you get to Bali and you get settled in, let's jump on and just have like a general chat like this again. I want to hear about Bali. I want to hear where you're training.
No chance. Sorry.
I've got a client over there. I've got a
We
client
can
in Bali.
we can talk we can talk when I'm back. I'm taking my mom as well, by the way, and
Oh,
everyone.
really?
So yeah,
Wow. That's amazing.
yeah. So I'll spend time with you when we're back.
Okay, and I will get down. I will get down for a session. I've just had a bit too much going
Okay.
on this first start of this year.
Yeah, of course. I didn't even know you were getting married, so yeah, obviously, understandable.
Yeah, but
All
I
right.
will. Right, well, safe travels, brother. And thank you very much for coming on. It
Thank
means
you.
a lot. Thank you for letting me
Thank
talk
you
a
for
little
the
bit.
chat, talking about yourself.
Hopefully nobody thinks I'm an asshole now. Everybody probably does. And I apologise.
Oh, shut up.
Right, we're going to call that a day. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening if you're still here. If you've got any questions, just throw them down below. And if you've got any questions for David, I will put contact details for him in the caption. And if you need anything from him or you want to know any more about me, feel free to ask either of us. Right, take care. Thank you, David, and I'll speak to you soon.